Good morning, y'all. Good morning. We're gonna hit on a couple topics today, and we're gonna do a morning feeding on these guys. Just gonna feed them some pellets today. We've gotten all the other treats during the week. But I wanted to hit on today a couple topics that one of them got brought up in my comment section by one of the subscribers. Is the hobby a hobby or is it an obsession? I think it's both. Yeah, it's me. Once I got started, I kind of got obsessed. I first started off with just a little 10-gallon. Some Tetris. That wasn't good enough for me. I had big tanks as a kid. I wanted big tanks, big fish. So that's what I went and got. Well, I started off with a 55-gallon from a 10-gallon. Ended up needing something bigger. We ain't got a 75-gallon. So I really think it's both a hobby and an obsession. You know, if you have fish that you care for, that you like, you're gonna go out of your way to make sure that they're thriving. Make sure that they're gonna have the space that they need. You know, is there certain fish that I wouldn't own? Oh yeah, for sure. But things that I'm gonna own and that I want to own, I will definitely go out of my way to make sure that they have the space and the filtration, the food, you know, circulation, heat, whatever they need. I'm gonna go out of my way for it. Just for these guys, I go out of my way. I buy, you know, big 2-pound bags of tilapia and shrimp every month. Like, these guys, sometimes they eat better than me, you know? I don't, you know, you can't really say is it a hobby or an obsession, because it's both. Once you get started, I don't know, you just never stop. I've been keeping fish since I was a little boy. I don't ever see myself not having an aquarium. Just like certain fish that I really like my Jack Dempsey's. I've had these fish going on almost 2-3 years now. And I'm about to go out of my way now because they done paired, they done made a good relationship, male and female. They want to have babies. So I'm going to go out of my way and I'm going to give them their own tank so they can have babies. It's just certain things that you do for your fish. You know, it's just like your child. You go out of your way for your child, you know? Why wouldn't you do the same for your fish? So, you know, you can't really be mad at somebody for going out of their way and upgrading their aquariums or, you know, giving their fish a bigger home. If they have the capability, they have the funds, and they want to do that, all means, do that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And, you know, another topic is pH. I've never tasted pH in an aquarium. Never have, never will. Look, as you can see right now, these Jack Dempseys are trying to, you know, do the breeding dance. Man, it's all about if your aquarium is stable. If it's cycled, if it's been up and running for I don't know how long. What's your maintenance schedule? Do you pick and mess with it all the time? What do you do to it, you know? that's gonna really all depend on your water parameters and what keeps your fish in check. Um, Chasing pH, you're gonna end up with a lot of problems. I've learned, you kill fish. Um, it's just never, it'll never be the same, Um, you do water changes, your pH shift. You know, don't nothing stay the same. So why did I chase it? The fish gonna naturally adapt. Um, like for instance, like I got African cichlids. Like they say they gotta be at the highest pH or whatever. Shoot, I done had African cichlids in this tank, and they breed, they do what they do. It doesn't matter about no pH and none of that. It's all about why I took them fish out of here. It's all about aggression and different habitats and different species. Different species of fish act differently from different species. Like these guys is just, they naturally to be aggressive. African cichlids, they aggressive, but they ain't nothing like this. Nothing. These is meat eaters. A lot of the African cichlids are herbivores. You know. It all just depends on what you keep, man. And that's what I like to keep. I don't know. I got a sweet spot for, as you can see, my big guys, and I also got a sweet spot for African cichlids. I love African cichlids. Breed them all day. And yep, that's what I don't put on camera. That's we gonna wait and see. We might start, but everybody got their own projects, and that's one of mine. Y'all have to stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll show y'all what I work on with that. And like, man, I don't know. Like Cleveland, like my man Cleveland, he done had his fish for years. When you have fish for years, you don't just get rid of them. You go like he did. You go out of your way and make accommodations, and make sure that they live a nice, healthy life. You build them big homes. If you're able to build them big homes, that's what the hobby is about. It is an obsession. It is. Some people got an obsession for big fish. Some people got an obsession for little fish. I know people with a whole basement full of nano tanks. 30 some odd nano tanks. Is that, would that be considered an obsession? Nah, not to me. I think that's a hobby, You like what you like. You like what you like. And it's not this ain't something that where you go and you judge a book by a cover. You don't know what people like, what they don't like, or why they do what they do, or why they don't do what they do. Like, y'all probably don't know that I got 18 aquariums behind me, That's the reason why I got rid of all these fish, is because I got so much. I got a lot. It's not because I could have kept my red tail, and went and got a 300-gallon stock pond. There's do's and there's don'ts. I just didn't want to. It's not because it's an obsession to have them or obsession to not have them, It's because because I gave them to somebody that already had it going. Why not? Good friend of mine, we done went to school together, and honestly, after this video, I'm gonna upload a video of his setup so y'all can see how they living. They doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well. And once again, this is 150 gallons. It's got a Tiger Oscar, Red Devil, 3 Jack Dempseys, Raphael Catfish, Plico, filtered by FX4, FX6, 2 1,200 gallons per hour wave makers, 2 300 watt heaters, went with the natural substrate, like river pebble, you know, try to give them the natural look of where they come from. Need to pick up some big pieces of driftwood. I picked up some from one of my rivers or whatever, but it was putting something in my aquarium and I just didn't like that, so I took that shit out. Took it right out. Like, it's another subject like I want to hit on. Like, so I picked this aquarium up for free, man. Dude texted me, said, I got a big fish tank. It's in my storage unit. It leaks. I'm about to put it to the curb. $20, you can have it. But you know, I ain't need it. Didn't have to have it. Didn't have to go pick it up. Didn't have to put the time and money in to reseal it. But guess what? I did, because it's the love of the hobby. It's the love of what I like to do. It's the love of what you get out of it. I picked this tank up, did a whole reseal, and I've had it ever since. It's never leaked, never nothing, ever since. Going on 3 years now. You know, like, it's easy things like that about this hobby that you find. You know, like that red tail that I picked up. I had him since, you know, he was a baby. You know, it's more than obsession. It's love, I would say. You know, something can't be an obsession when it soothes, or, you know, it does something to people. Like Cleveland, like, he's showing us you got people that are in this hobby like me, that, you know, have other abilities that aren't able to, you know, see or hear or smell. But they don't let that defeat them. You know, they keep fish. They build fish. They build fish tank. You know, like, they doing it. That's what it's all about, and that's what we here for. Carry this on. Who cares if it's a success? That's what it's for. You know? I'm gonna be bluntly honest. I'm obsessed with a certain breed of fish, and I'm working on them. I'm breeding them myself so I can have more of them. It's just some things that you do. Like, you're about to pick up probably a 90 or a 75 gallon and move these Jack Dempseys out of here. And then I'm about to do a whole new idea with this tank. I think I'm about to keep that red devil in there, and I think I'm about to do a project with parrots, start making crystal parrots, you know? Because people don't even know where fish be actually be, like, you know, how they be made or where they come from or any of that. Like, you know, a blood parrot is made from a red devil VA high, and, you know, like, things like that. People don't be knowing, man. And to have these big fish, you gotta have big tanks. You gotta upgrade, you know? Like, if I were to take this red devil out, he couldn't go in nothing smaller than a 75-gallon. And I wouldn't even want to put him in that because he ain't nearly done growing. So the smallest I would put him in is a 125. And that would be to itself. Same with this Oscar. He ain't nearly done growing. None of them. Just and like I did that so I could upgrade other things in my aquarium hobby obsession, I should say. Let's say that. Yeah. Um, yeah. You know, I got rid of those fish to do some different things. Like I just said, we're gonna switch it up and it's gonna be parrots in here. You know, you never know what you're gonna see next. You know, everybody has moves and decisions and things like that. But thank y'all. And oh, and there was another thing, you know, about the lights. That was only on a certain tank. This is not that tank. It's on a different tank. Um, Not the same kind of lights, different whole different other setup, whole different other tank. That tank was 125 gallon and it was filled with African cichlids. Um, this is a play tank. I put my South American cichlids in there. And that's what this is. But I do got some, I'm working on some garden and all that stuff that he was talking about Cleveland. I got that in my pocket, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but man, I know a lot about African cichlids, Mabuna, peacocks, habs, all that. Breed them, love them to death. Females, you know, you always have your dog color. Males would be the bright color, always. You only want females if you're breeding. Females in a male tank will cause problems, cause them to kill each other, all this and that. Rocks, decor, all of that, you know, cause them to fight, pick on each other. So it's best to do an all male tank. I just let them be in open water. And eventually I'm gonna probably end up drilling this tank and putting a sump system on it, probably, or an overhead sump. Some idea of more filtration. Ever since I took the mother fish out too, his nuclear hump done grown. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this morning. A few topics I wanted to hit on. I'm gonna hop off here. Thanks for watching.